Hello everybody, welcome back to the next episode of All the Mods 8. This is actually a bit of an unusual spot for me to start the episode off, but I was actually here to get ourselves into some different mods, including Occultism and EvilCraft. In order to do that, I actually had to go ahead and get something for one of these items that's actually required for, I believe it's the, if I come to the ATM Star, I think it's the Philosopher's Fuel that requires this item right here. And then also, I believe it is, yeah, the pulsating black hole requires one of these lightning bombs. So in order to craft this, we need to have a lightning grenade, and that means we need a thunderstruck weather container. And the way we get this is by putting this inside of the environmental accumulator from EvilCraft. This is one of the ones that we first came to at the very beginning of the series. Actually, there's still a boat down there. But I'm going to go ahead and basically, I think, put this on top, like so. There we go. It is charging, which is a good sign. And there we have it. We have a thunderstruck weather container. And I think this now has to recharge in order to be used again. But we only really needed the one, because the one is going to be good enough for us to go ahead and craft some of these lightning grenades, which in turn we can use to craft a lightning bomb. That's pretty much all that we needed from that. Now, the rejuvenated flesh, that's actually really easy as well, and it's the only other thing we need from the EvilCraft mod, I believe. This can be basically crafted using either humanoid flesh or the werewolf flesh, but funny enough, we actually have one of these humanoid flesh from the time that we died in the SPS. So, yeah, we have the one here. I think that's pretty much all we're going to need. In terms of this, we actually do need to get a little bit more into EvilCraft a bit. We have to craft one of these infusers. I'm not exactly sure how we get these, the dark power gems. Yeah, so we do need an infuser, it seems. So we're going to have to do a little bit experimenting with this mod, because I'm not very familiar with EvilCraft, but I have played with Occultism a little more, so that should be a little bit better. But let's get back to base. So our goal for today is to get 2 of these mods pretty much finished for what we're going to need for the star. EvilCraft actually only requires 2 different items to complete the mod, as we were saying before. It requires us to get rejuvenated flesh, which takes 1 humanoid flesh and 1 of the Garmonbosia. EvilCraft and Occultism are 2 mods that we're not going to have to dive into too deep, I don't think. Just deep enough to get the items that we require for the star, and that's about it. We are going to need a blood infuser for 1. We need a source of blood. We have 50,000 blood, so I'm gonna have to figure out how we go about getting that. I have the book, the Origins of Darkness book, so I can go ahead and kind of just read through and get a little bit of a better idea of how to make use of some of this stuff. But in terms of all of the rest of the materials, I believe we can just craft this. We already have some of this stuff from just passively gathering materials over time. And to craft this Promise of Tenacity, we need to get a Bowl of Promises, which involves having a Promise of Tenacity 2 with some more blood. So we definitely need to get a blood infuser set up, and probably a way to automate the production of blood. But the Promise of Tenacity basically has to go through all the different tiers, it looks like, but we have to start with this empty Bowl of Promises. Now, to get the Dark Power Gem, we can convert a normal Dark Gem into Dark Power Gems this way, but in order to get our first, we need first the Dark Power Gem, and then also the Hardened Blood Shard, which we can get from... Okay, so it is something we can get from the Undead Leaves. The thing that I noticed is there is such a thing called the Undead Sapling, which we need, and these can actually be bought from the market. So we can go ahead and grab, I believe, a market here, and we can come in here and grab an Undead Sapling, and I think that will probably be at the bottom somewhere. There it is. Perfect. Okay. If I get some bone meal while I grow it. Oh yeah, okay. And if I just harvest the logs, we get more saplings back. Oh no, we don't. We only get dead bush. Interesting. Okay, so we have to then basically buy as many saplings as we're going to need. I think there is a way to craft the saplings. Oh, so you can put them in a botany pot. Oh, here we go. So you have to put them back into a blood infuser. That's okay. For now, I just wanted to get a way to basically get a little bit of the blood here so we can go ahead and make this. It says that we have to throw a dark gem in the middle of a pool with at least 5 non-hardened blood blocks. I think we're going to end up needing one of these extractors. It looks like we can shift right click to extract or auto supply. So let's go ahead and see if we can craft one of these up. It does require some of these spikes. So let's go and make an extractor. I'm not 100% sure how this works. Let's just do a little bit of testing out here. If I grab this, take our extractor, will that fill? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. So that's actually really easy then. All I gotta do is just come in here, sit here for a moment, and get a little bit of this all done up. Now, I'm not sure how we're going to go about using it once it's in here, so I'm going to have to test that. Okay, we got a full amount here. Let's go ahead and put this back down. And let's try and make use of some of this stuff. So right now it is set to auto supply. Okay, so we can dump it out kind of like a bucket of water. So it says that we needed at least 5 non-hardened blood blocks. So I'm thinking we just need to make a little area that we can set this up. So if I come in here with this and fill all of this, oh, so that is 5. So maybe that's going to be enough. If I take a dark gem and throw it in the middle. Oh, it did. Okay, so it does convert automatically. Very nice. Okay, there we go. We have these shards coming in, which is really good. We need 8 of those, I believe. So let's go ahead and take a look at this quest line. Basically, the entire goal is to get to this point where you have the Garmambosia, which is the quest line that kind of brings you through here. So next up, let's go ahead and see if we can get ourselves an infusion core. We should have everything that we need right here, and we'll grab one just like so. So let's go ahead and make the infuser right now. This is just going to take, I guess, some cobblestone, similarly to how you'd make a furnace. But then you just put the infusion core in the middle, and that'll give you a fuser like that. Now this thing does rely on having some blood, so we're gonna need to get a little more. Let's go ahead and see if we can get ourselves the bowl of promises. We need to get some more of the power gems. So we are going to get, need to get a little bit more of the blood, but which that's gonna be very easy to do, as we do have a mob farm right here, which should effectively be infinite of the blood. And after we've right-clicked some of this in from the extractor, we can go ahead and just put one of these in, and it should start crafting up the dark power gem. It only takes 250, so that's pretty good. We just go ahead and make a couple of these. Probably make a few of them because we're going to need them for sure. And we could probably speed this up using a time in a bottle. And we want to craft ourselves the bowl of empty promises. Once we have that, we can go ahead and make the dusted bowl right after. So we put the bowl of promises through the extractor here. Now we take this dusted bowl of promises and put it in here like so. And we can go ahead and speed this up again a little bit. This takes quite a while, it seems. I bet we can get some upgrades here if we wanted to, but for now we have the bowl there. And if we come to our quest line, we can see that we have this. And now we need to make a promise of tenacity, which we need to put an iron block through with a full infuser's worth of the blood. So we are going to need to get a little more of that. And then we got to put one of the iron blocks through, and that will hopefully be giving us what we need. And we have the iron promise acceptor, which we then use to craft the promise of tenacity 1. Go ahead and get that crafted up here just like so. And I think we have to put that through the infuser. Now, I'm not 100% sure where... Oh, we have to put the promise in here like so. So that actually does upgrade the machines. It looks like it increases the capacity. I think to make this process faster, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch out a spawner that we have with just a cow spawner, just a nice passive mob spawner. That way we can just go ahead and hopefully farm a lot of cows all at once. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the delightful dirt just for now. And now we should have plenty of them spawning. Can we upgrade these to make them better? Doesn't look like it. We can get some more though. I think the extractors fill in your inventory regardless of if it's in your offhand. So we should be able to just take this out, come in here, and then when we want to start farming them, just turn it on and just come in here for just a brief moment. It's a little glitchy looking, but it's a good fast way to get it done. think that's probably going to be enough. Good, we have 3 maxed out ones right there. Okay, so now we have this. We have to turn this into the Promise of Tenacity 2. I believe 3 is the one that we need for the Garbanzio. So we just need one of these, which means we're going to need a Promise of Tenacity 2. Now, it's really sad, but unfortunately, the Drigmies, for some reason, give a lot more of the blood per kill. So I switched this out to a Drigmy spawner, which is really sad, but it just makes it so much faster. Yep, and now that this is maxed out here with 40,000 worth, it is starting to craft very slowly. So that's good. We can go ahead and speed this up, and we should have the second tier all ready to go. And just like that, we have the Promise of Tenacity 2, which we can then go and replace the first one with. And I don't think you need to actually keep the other one. You only need the one in there. That's really good. But now we need 160 buckets worth from these guys. So I'm going to actually go ahead and make a couple more of these just to make this go a little faster, because we are going to need a ton of it. That's actually crazy how fast that was. That was maybe no more, like maybe a minute, and I filled my entire inventory effectively with these vials. So that is pretty crazy. So now all we have to do is come in here, empty all of these into this. There we go. And we have 85. So that's about half. So we basically have to do that twice, which is not going to take very long at all. And just like that, we have a maxed out infuser. So now we just have to go ahead, put that diamond block in there, and give this thing a little bit of time in a bottle, which means we now need to make a tier 2 bowl of promise, which is very easy. We just need to go ahead and make the same thing that we've been making the whole time. That is enough. Perfect. And this should give us our bowl of promises, which we then use to craft. And last but not least, we need that Eye of Ender, and we can craft the Promise of Tenacity 3. If we go and check this, we need only 50 buckets worth and one of these materialized Vengeance Essence, which we have right here. And there we have it. The Garmonbozia is complete. Perfect. And that is the quest completed. So that's effectively, I believe, everything we're going to need for the rest of EvilCraft. All we have to do is get to the rejuvenated flesh, and that's pretty much it. We already have a humanoid flesh, obviously, so we'll go ahead and check that off our list. We can grab one out of here and craft these two together. Will give us the rejuvenated flesh. And that is pretty much EvilCraft complete. Obviously, there are many other things we can get into if we really want to, but I'm just interested in getting the star item. And because both EvilCraft and Occultism aren't mods that I'm going to need a lot of going forward, I wasn't planning on doing any permanent setups for them in the base, underground, or just above ground on the island, which is why I decided to do it over here. I will probably leave these up regardless, just in case we have to ever come back to this stuff again. But for the most part, I think that's going to be pretty much all we're going to need. Next up, we have to get into the Occultism mod. And where it all starts is from the Demon's Dream Seeds, which we get. You can get the Demon's Dream Seeds by breaking grass. I'll even go ahead and try and get one if I... There, I got one extra one there. So just by breaking grass, you get these just kind of standard. So they're really easy to get, not too hard. And what I'm going to actually do is get some farmland out. Let's just get... I mean, we just need to put a bucket of water in here and surround this by farmland like so. And we can just put the dream fruit on like this. And we should only really need a little bit for now. Let's go ahead and bone meal up this. It grows and we get, I think, a couple pieces. Oh no, we get one fruit per, but you do get some extra seeds. So that's good for now. Now, what we have to do with this, I believe, is we have to convert this into a spirit fire. And what we do is, I believe, toss it on the ground and use a flint and steel. Now, I think a little trick you can do is by taking netherrack and putting it underneath. You can let it burn infinitely or semi-infinitely. I'm not 100% sure. But if we go ahead and drop it down and right-click, that gives us the spirit fire. Oop, I put it out. There we go, spirit fire. Now, I don't know if Occultism actually has a quest line. It doesn't appear that it does. So we're going to have to kind of just keep ourselves going within Occultism. We only need a couple of different items. We need the empty soul gem and the dimensional storage actuator, which is going to require a base and the actual matrix itself. of which we need to basically make use of some rituals to get these items. So within the eccentric tome, the occultism book, we have kind of a very interestingly laid out quest line. Our main goal is to get to the point where we can make ourselves these sacrificial bulls and create our first ritual. In order to do that, we have to be able to get to the point where we can make the bowls and the golden bowl. We also are going to need some chalk and potentially a brush. So we're going to have to go ahead and maybe mark a couple of things down that we're going to need. We're going to need a candle, but we need to make sure that's the candle from the actual mod itself, the white candle, and we need tallow for this. We need to make a butcher knife here to get some tallow. Okay, I'm not sure if that'll work on these guys in here. We have a couple cow spawn eggs. Okay, let's go ahead and make a cow, and if we kill them with this, that should give us some tallow. There we go, perfect. Okay, we'll get a couple of this tallow, because we're probably going to need a bunch of it anyway. 28 tallow, and that's what we're going to need to make some of these candles. So one item we're actually going to need quite a bit of, I believe, is called Other Stone, and that's obtained just by throwing in a piece of andesite into the fire we have over there. So that should be very easy to do. We'll grab ourselves just a stack of it. We might end up needing more. We have some Other Stone. Let's get a couple stacks. That should be good for now. We're going to need a bunch of the pedestals, the Other Stone pedestals. So let's go ahead and make a couple of these. And we're also going to need some of the bowls as well. Let's go make a Other Stone pedestal. And we're going to also need called bowl. There we go. Some bowls. I'm not sure how many exactly. We'll make 8 for now. And I think we just need 1 golden one. So we need to do the Strikior's Higher Binding ritual by basically using these items on different sacrificial bowls. Looks like there's 4 of them, and then 1 golden one in the middle with a Book of Binding. The Book of Binding can be made by crafting the Book of Binding with the correct, I guess, spirit inside with the current book we have in our inventory. So we can go ahead and craft the one we need. I think it's this one right here, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is crafted just like this. It's actually quite easy. The purified ink just requires some black dye also being thrown into the spirit fire. So we'll go ahead and make some more black dye. We should have enough to get plenty of it here. We'll make a stack of it as well. Toss that in there, and we have our purified dye. And then we just need to go ahead and make this right here. We, of course, need some books and quills. We're actually going to need a bunch of the books and quills. So we'll go ahead and make a couple just for now. And also some green dye. And that is enough to get the Book of Binding. Now, we can craft this together like this to get to the summoning book, I guess you could say. It is going to show you what it looks like here. And it looks like we can do a multi-block preview. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. And you can basically just kind of place it down in the world wherever you need. And it'll give you kind of like a template of how to build the setup for the ritual. And the empty spaces are, I believe, where the bowls will go. Now, we are missing a couple of items here. We're going to need a bunch of different colors of chalk. The white chalk, yellow chalk, and the purple chalk. But then also we have these crystals that we haven't gotten access to quite yet. So we're going to have to go ahead and craft those as well. To get a hold of the different colored chalks, we first need the impure chalk, and then basically we throw it into the spirit fire to convert it to the white chalk. The white chalk can be enchanted with mending, which actually is kind of cool. I don't know if I can put it into the enchanting table, but I think we're going to be okay just as we are for now. We are going to need another different material called Otherworld Wood. To get Otherworld Wood, we have to find it in the Otherworld Groves. Only visible when the status Third Eye is active. See Dictionary of Spirits for more information. So I believe this does have some information on how to obtain said wood right here, the Third Eye. We basically have to, I believe, eat a demon dream fruit or craft the Otherworld goggles. So how do we craft these? The Otherworld goggles. They craftable easily enough. They do require another ritual, but I think we can go ahead and just get a demon dream fruit. And we are going to need, I believe, an oak sapling from occultism. So we have to basically throw an oak sapling into the fire, and that'll convert it to a special type of oak sapling called the oak sapling from occultism. It has a purple texture here. And if we place it down, I believe it's going to look very similar to a normal oak sapling, if I remember. Yeah, just like that. It kind of is a bit of a disguised sapling. And in order for us to actually get the special wood, we have to eat a demon dream fruit. Well, there we go. So our screen went kind of crazy here. And now we basically can right click and get the otherworld log while we're in this effect. Let's go ahead and grab that. Now let's just make a couple of these before this. Oh, the effect already wore off. So let's go ahead and do that again. We kind of got to be a little quick about it, I guess. It's only a temporary effect, so we'll go ahead and grab as much of this as we can. And we have to then throw that into the fire to get the overworld ashes. So let's go ahead and get a bunch of that stuff. We'll just throw in a bunch of it like so. And the overworld ashes are used to craft the impure white chalk. We also need to get the other component, which is the burnt other stone, which is just other stone that we smelt. So actually going to have to go ahead and grab maybe a stack of that and send it through our smelter really quick. And crafting these together gets us the impure white chalk, which we can then take over here, throw it into the fire, and get the normal white chalk. I'm going to go take a quick check to see if I can enchant this, because I might not have to worry about it breaking then if I can get unbreaking on it. It does have unbreaking on some of these. Unbreaking 3, unbreaking 7 on this guy. Maybe we'll go ahead and actually enchant these chalk, because that way they might just last a long time, you know? So we're going to have to go ahead and make a couple more of the impure chalks, like so. And then once we're there, we can make the golden chalk by just using a glowstone and gold dust, which is good, like that. And also the purple chalk, which makes use of obsidian dust and crushed endstone. The crushed endstone, that's something I have not considered that we're going to need, to get. So we're going to actually have to get into a different ritual first before we can get this crushed endstone. So I'm going to hold off on the purple chalk for now. But for now, we have the impure golden chalk, which we can throw into the fire here as well. Just going to try and make a little bit of space here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and enchant that one as well and keep that one as a pretty much unbreakable chalk for the rest of what we're going to be doing. I mean, unbreaking 7 that's pretty much unbreakable. So we are going to need to get a crusher spirit, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what that's going to require of us. The most basic crusher, I believe, is the foliot. Yeah, these ones. Now, this does require the raw ore, unfortunately. We have to do this very basic one first. And so that means we are going to require some of the raw ore, which means we're going to have to put down these bowls just like that, and the gold one in the middle. We want to basically surround this with all of the required materials, and then we have to add our chalk. So we just have to put down the chalk like so. I don't actually think it matters which symbol is showing for the ritual to begin. And we put all the candles there, and that should be good to go. Now all we have to do, I believe, is put down a binding book. Let me just double check this really quick. A book of binding for foliot. So we need to make a different book that we haven't made quite yet, which we actually have enough stuff to make. Perfect. Craft it together with our normal tome, and it's ready to start the summoning. And it will slowly start to eat the items from the summoning bowls as it goes along. Yep, there goes one. So some of these rituals can take a long time. Time in the bottle might speed this up. I'm not sure if you have to speed it up by doing the middle part. It looks like it is. So we can speed it up using the time in a bottle. And that should, there we go. We have our little dude, Murzerler. We have to now give this guy some endstone. If I grab a little bit of endstone and say, here you go, buddy, take that. You can hear him kind of doing a crushing noise. And he'll slowly, because he is the lowest tier crusher, he will do it very slowly, but he'll then start dropping, I believe, the crushed endstone that we need to make the last tier of chalk. I'm going to craft up the last obsidian that we need. And there we go. We have everything we need to get. And he's going to do the rest of that chalk, or that endstone, which is fine. But in the meanwhile, I'll go enchant the purple chalk as well. And just like that, we have all three of these chalks all enchanted up, ready to go. So again, what we're actually trying to get to is a dimensional crystal matrix, which we need to make a certain ritual to perform. Let's go ahead and see if we have everything we need to create that. Now, last I remembered, we did need also the certain purple crystals, which I don't think we had made quite yet. Here we go, the spirit attuned crystal. These require the spirit attuned gems, which just require diamonds being thrown into the fire, which is very easy to do. We'll grab a stack of those. That is not a worry for us right at this point. And we have plenty of spirit attuned gems. 4 of these for now. But now, unfortunately, as much as I do want to keep this guy around, he does decay over time. We don't really need him to do much more for us here. So unfortunately, even though I'm very thankful for him having, done all this for us, I'm just going to go ahead and dispose of him, which is a little rude, but the Strigio's Higher Binding. This is the one that is going to be, I believe, the more complicated one, but we have, I think, everything we're going to need for this. And that's all ready to go. And I believe this takes the Book of Binding, the Genie one. Right, so we need now 3 blocks of quartz and 1 ender pearl. And then we put the book in the middle, and that is starting to do the dimensional matrix. Right, so we need to combine this with the storage actuator base to make this, which is the piece that we need to craft the dimensional seed. Occultism has its own built-in storage system, which is actually really, really cool. I ended up using it a lot in a different pack called Create Above and Beyond. And it basically has some similar features to Refined Storage in that you can have wireless storage and you can increase your total storage size by adding what's called by adding these dimensional storage stabilizers that are kind of set up in a unique way. And these basically can provide you with a very large amount of storage if you don't have access to a different mod like Refined Storage. It's actually a pretty good way to get into some early game storage systems, just good bulk storage that you can actually use a remote with. And this is taking quite a while, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can speed this up a little bit. It is almost done then, and that will give us the matrix itself. Then we have to do the same setup with the Strigio's Higher Binding, but we need to use the same book in the middle, but then put all of these resources around to get 1 empty soul gem. The soul gem is what we need to craft the dragon's soul, so we're just going to need to make 1 of these. And there's our dimensional matrix. Put that down, and there we go. This is a very time-consuming one, so we'll speed it up all the way. And there is our soul gem. Now we have to set up this different ritual for the last part as well. Looks like it's just white and gold chalk. No purple chalk required for this one, and it is ready to go. So we craft these 2 pieces together like so, and that'll give us the dimensional storage actuator, which we then can use it as a part of this setup right here. What I just realized is we need 2 of them, not just the one. So we're going to have to go ahead and make a second one of these, which means we're going to have to set up the previous setup again one more time. But yeah, I have to go ahead and do this one more time, so I'll go ahead and do that really quick. And we'll go ahead and craft our last one up here, the storage actuator base, into the dimensional storage actuator. So now we have both of these down. I believe that is all we're going to need for this. We just need 2 of them. Yep, so we are all good for that. And that's effectively all we need to do to finish occultism for the star. And I just cleaned up this area after, just because I don't think we're going to need a whole lot more of it. So I figured we might as well keep the area looking relatively clean for the next time we're going to be needing a nice flat area to do something. But yeah, that is pretty much everything we're going to need from both of those 2 mods. So one of the final things that I think that we are going to have to do before we start looking at the couple of the other items that we're going to need to really focus in on, a lot of these items have things that we either already have or can make very, very easily. For example, the Wither Compass, we already have the Wither Builder and the Heart of the Deep, but we're missing 3 of these gravitational modulating units. However, we can already craft these, assuming we have all of this stuff on autocraft, we have enough antimatter, and we have the module or the module bases autocrafted. And I want to go ahead and basically go through every single piece that we're missing still and set autocrafts for all the things we already have. So for example, we're going to come in here and set a autocraft for the the modulating unit. We have all of this pretty much ready to go, and the modular base. And we'll also do the bronze nugget. Throw that in here up top. And now the system knows how to make those pieces. We do have 6 antimatter, so we might not have quite enough. Oh no, we have 9 antimatter. Never mind. We're actually going quite well. So in that case, we actually probably have almost enough. Yeah, we have 3 per. So we have basically enough to make this wither compass, all 3 of these. So if we just take a little bit of the bronze here, we can go in here and say, make me 3 of these modulating units. And it says, okay, it can, which is great. It's going to go ahead and do its crafting. As we can see here, it's got to do a bit of crafting up because it does require some of these induction cells. The ultimate induction one is the expensive one. But effectively, we can go ahead and say, yeah, we have pretty much everything else done except for this antimatter crystal. But by doing this, we've kind of isolated what items we still are missing. And then anything that's highlighted in red, we'll know that's an item we have to focus on. I just want to show this off really quickly, actually. I'm just going ahead and taking a look at the... I'm working on the Nexium emitter crafts, and the singularity here is actually very straightforward. All it requires, and it's not like it requires a whole lot of extra material. It requires me to make a matter condenser and 1 storage component from applied energistics to make a singularity. So the matter condenser is just iron and glass with 1 fluix dust using a fluix crystal, which you can basically throw in a charged Certus quartz, 1 piece of redstone, and 1 normal quartz in water, and it'll turn into 2 fluix crystal, which is how we're going to do it. Thankfully, we do have some Certus quartz crystals already because we had harvested the damaged some budded ones at some point when we find some of the meteors around the world. So that's actually not a bad way to do it, because you don't really need a whole lot unless you're planning on actually making use of the storage component of applied energistics and all the auto crafting and such. But we used refined storage, so we're just going to go ahead and take 8 of these, and we have to put these into a charger. Now, I've made a charger right here because it's like dirt cheap to make. And I think all we should have to do is put this down like this and also just give it some power. And I think that's pretty much everything we need. I think this should be able to accept power. And is that going to start charging? It does. And it's basically instant. You just put it in, wait a couple seconds, and boom, it is ready to go. If we drop all of these in here, they should immediately convert into the fluix crystals. There we go. And that should give us 16, and we're going to put it through the crusher, and that's going to get us the fluix dust. And of course, we just need to now make the matter condenser, which is very cheap. Actually, I just realized that we are going to actually need to get into a little bit more applied energistics to actually get this thing to work. We're going to need an inscriber, and we're going to need the calculation presses, or all the presses for it. Thankfully, we do have all 4 of these. So I actually think we can go ahead and get this done. It is maybe a little bit beyond what I wanted to get done today, but it shouldn't take too long. Effectively, all we need is a 64K storage part as a minimum. So we're just going to pin all of the ones going down here. And this is very similar to how refined storage works in terms of just nested crafting. It looks like we are going to need a little more Certus quartz though. So I'm thinking that we might end up going down the mystical agriculture route for this and make a few Certus quartz seeds. So the next thing we're going to want to put on the autocraft is probably the inscribers. Now there is the advanced inscriber, but because we're just going to be making just the most basic, just to get what we need done here, I'm just going to go ahead and make 3 inscribers like so. And we're going to have to do this a little differently. I'm going to go just set these up here. They do require power because these inscribers are a little bit finicky in my experience. Some of the ones that they kind of rely on being inserted in from certain directions. So let's go ahead and get these set up. First, we need 1/4 silicone, which we can put a silicone press in here. And if we grab a little bit of the raw silicone we have and maybe a little bit of power, we should be able to see this thing work. I put one silicone in here, and it's going to convert into one of the printed silicone. It says it can extract from the left, right, back, and front. So that means we're going to have to extract like so, and it can insert from the bottom. Insert from the left, right, back, and front. So we want to insert from the left and extract from the right. And that's pretty much everything. We can just put the silicone in there, and it should automatically just produce us the printed silicone, which is really good. Next up, we need to craft the different logic circuits. If we type in circuit, we can see there's 3 different circuits here: printed, calculation, engineering, and logic. I am going to need one more inscriber. I think we're basically going to do a barrel setup for all of these. Logic press. So the logic circuits are what we're going to use to create the printed logic circuit. So we want to now add gold to the left, and we're going to extract out the right. And that should just be making us the appropriate circuits once we also give it some power. And again, this is going to be very temporary. This is just to get what we need to get ourselves going. And these also require some redstone. And we're going to set this up probably in the same way we have this set up here. I'm just going to wait until... Well, actually, I can just put these in now. And that'll just, by default, I think, create all the pieces that we need. But all this is done. I think I'm going to even just get rid of all the rest of these setups for now, because I don't think we're going to need them anymore. This one has a couple left, but that shouldn't be a problem. And I'm just going to wait here until these are done, and then we'll go ahead and craft up the 64K storage component. Okay, so all that's done crafting up, we should be able to come in here and craft a 64K storage part. And there it is, all done. So I have the matter condenser set up here. I believe this is also going to require power. Nope, maybe not actually. Never mind. So if we go ahead and put this storage part in here just like that, we can see that it's storing energy. It's filling the disk up, but that's not what we want. What we want is to condense it into singularities, and that says 256,000 per item. So effectively, you need to put 256,000 items in here to create one singularity. But a cool little trick that I know is you can actually pipe in water just from the sink and such to a matter condenser, and it actually counts as items. So if we go in here, we have 2 of these running with high upgrade, with a high upgrade on. We can see it's actually pumping in quite a bit of content into this matter condenser, and it's effectively making free singularities using the water. This isn't going to take very long at all to give us the one singularity we need, and we only really need the one, because I believe for the star, all we need is, I get rid of all this stuff, all we really need is enough to make the one singularity for the Nexium emitter, and we're all set. And just like that, we have almost enough items in here to create the singularity, and once it reaches the amount, it should, there we go, our singularity from AE2. And we can keep this in the system just in case we want to get some more, but that's effectively all we need right there. It's just the one singularity. So in between this episode and the next one, I'm going to go ahead and just keep working on the setting up all those crafts and see how much stuff we actually can make right now. And that'll help us to know exactly what we need to keep focusing on as we get closer and closer to finishing the ATM Star. But anyways, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't joined the Discord, be sure to do that and come on over and say hi. But anyways, that's it from me, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good one. Bye.